Well, there we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday, March 5th, 2026. I, of course, am Hammer from Hammer Solutions, founder of great products that help my mortgage originator friends be found online, work with social media, get loans from Google, AI search, and social media. Check us out at originatorssuccess.com, grabandgosocial.com, and ratesensei.com. So remember, you can join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time on Facebook and YouTube as we talk about what's going on with rates and pricing. Very relevant lately as we see what's going on, things whipsawing, a lot of volatility. So we got a lot to cover today. Mortgage rates are going to be up a little bit today, probably up about 1/8 of a point. So we'll go over kind of what's driving things. Quick nutshell version, the TLDR, if you will, of course, is oil prices. We've seen some overnight trading. And tomorrow we're going to get BLS jobs data. So we'll talk about that a little bit, what we can expect and if that's going to help us at all or hurt us and what we can see on that. We'll talk a little bit about the Fed and some of the headlines. So remember, if you would like a reminder text that I'm going live so you don't miss any of the show, you can sign up at hmmr.io/reminder or use this cool QR code over here and sign up. We send out a text message as I'm going live so that you can hop on. If you're here this morning, say good morning. Friends like Brandy Brickler and Nicole Semrad, Harry Dennis, good to see y'all. Angela Walters, Mike Brown, Yasmin Martin, great to have you here. Remember, if you would like to sign up for our email written lock advice, you can go ahead and get that at ratelockadvice.com. There's also another cool QR code right here you can use to sign up for that. And with the volatility we're having now, definitely makes sense to have our text alerts. They're $7 a month. You can't complain that they're too expensive. www.ratetextalerts.com. We send out an alert we send out a text at about 10 in the morning. Another one between 4 and 5 p.m. as markets close. And then we send out alerts when you should lock or even sometimes when you should float if things are going well. So be sure to check that out as well. All right, my friends, I'm going to go ahead and let's get started. Remember, if you're here this morning, say good morning. Give me a hashtag live. If you're on the replay, go ahead and give me a hashtag replay. Don't forget to smash that like button and all that good stuff. Otherwise, let's get into it. I'm going to do it a little bit different format this morning. Good morning, Mr. Ron Siegel. Today we celebrate National Cheese Doodle Day. That's funny. All right. Yesterday, bonds started with some small gains through the day, which gave us a little bit of hope we were going to see better rates, but those were erased by the end of the day. And we did end the day down a couple of basis points. I'll show you the charts in a minute, but the day started out with some hope. It looked like we might be seeing a little bit of a recovery, at least some stability. But as I pointed out yesterday, as I've been saying in the text alerts, I've been saying it in the written email advice, you're going to see bonds follow oil prices. You can follow Brent crude is the best one to be following to see what's going on with oil prices. So yesterday things were looking good, but by day's end, it wasn't really all that great. So today you're going to see rate sheets that are going to be worse on average, about 1/8 of a point in rate. So you're going to see rates move higher today. If you're not seeing rates move higher, you're going to see a big hit to your pricing. Generally, you're reflecting mortgage-backed securities currently down about 16 basis points on the day and losing a little bit of ground yesterday altogether. You know, you're looking at about 22 basis points worth of pricing change. That's generally going to bring rates up about 1/8. And I'll show you the technicals in a minute, but these are basically the worst bond prices right now. The 5.0 coupons at 99.81. These are the worst bond prices we've seen since February 4th. So, and back then rates were about 1/8 higher. Good morning, Zane, Holly Johnson, Deb Dickinson, Vicky McSweeney. Great to have you here. Reprice risk on the day is moderate. It has not been low, of course, recently because of the potential for movement, but right now it's definitely moderate. Bonds have been steadily losing ground this morning, very slowly, but they are losing ground. I'm going to show you that when we get to the technicals in a minute, but it puts us in a position where we could be seeing some things worsen up. The current outlook when it comes to the Fed, which again, now that's taken a backseat after being the primary driver or indicator. Markets are basically only pricing in the chance of a single rate cut this year, and not until the second half of the year. So it's really, we've seen a shift. Just a little while back, markets are kind of slightly speculating we may see an April cut, and now that's totally off the table. A June cut's even off the table. Even a July cut isn't really looking all that given. So notice that we don't hear anything about Jerome Powell anymore. That just totally disappeared. You don't hear any headlines about that anymore. As far as the rate outlook, you can definitely expect continued volatility, and I'm expecting to see rates creep a little bit higher. Now, we've been lucky up till now. These rates are still in in kind of a broader context. These are still great rates. Rates are definitely off of last week's best levels, but you're still talking low sixes, even high fives for govies. So these are still great rates. Now, the question is, will they move higher? And I kind of vacillate based on reacting to what I see in the markets. And I'll show you the technicals in a minute, and we'll go over the technicals and the headlines. But overall, yes, it's looking like we definitely could see things continue to creep higher, especially as the conflict with Iran. How do you pronounce Iran/Iran? Iran, right? How do you pronounce it? I like Iran. I've heard a lot of that. I don't think there is a proper, and in fact, there's an argument whether you call it Iran at all or whether it's, originally is Persia and they call it something different. So, but anyway, let me know E or I or AH. You could say for Iran, Iran, right? So Aaron, like Aaron, like that skit with Peel and Key. So Key and Peel. So anyway, rate outlook. We're going to start the day cautiously floating. Mortgage-backed securities are down, like I said, about 15 basis points at the moment. We've seen recovery before, and unless we start to see them lose ground, you're already going to see the damage to morning rate sheets. Now, if we don't see recovery today, then I lean towards locking anything risk averse and closing in the next couple of weeks, even ahead of tomorrow's jobs data. And we're going to get into that some more in a minute. So I'll leave that stuff down at the bottom of the screen with the lock advice. But as we take a look, first and foremost, let's go ahead and acknowledge Mr. Ron Siegel says today is National Cheese Puffs Day. First of all, who eats like store brand cheese puffs? I'm not a big cheese doodle, cheese puff kind of guy, and who calls them cheese puffs versus cheese doodles? It's like Band-Aids, right? You don't say adhesive bandages. You say Band-Aid or Kleenex. Brands, I would love to have a brand that's so iconic. Googling Kleenex, Band-Aids, cheese doodles. I would love to have a brand so iconic that it represents the generic of what it is, right? Like Prozac, you say, hey, you need Prozac, not you need whatever drug is actually in Prozac. So we never talk about the generic. So who eats generic? Any of y'all eat like Aldi's cheese puffs, or I'm sure they're probably the same, but I don't eat any of those. Not that I'm going to be a big snob and say that I push my nose down on that stuff, but don't eat that stuff. It's terrible for you. You talk about ultra processed foods. Anyone have a dark secret that they love those things? Let me know. Cheetos, right? Cheetos, cheese doodles, Cheetos. It's not easy being cheesy. It shows you great marketing. Chester the cheetah. So still remembering all that stuff. So thank you, Ron. Appreciate that. Yeah, Gary Foot said, I'm always going to say, I'm going to hammer this rate when I lock. I love it. I would love to be the brand for lock and float. That means I'm doing something right. Mike Brown, I pronounce Iran like the flock of seagulls. I don't know how the flock of seagulls pronounce it. I'm in trouble. There's a proper way to say it. Iran. Yes, it was Persia previously. Yes, thank you, Tina. Iran. Yes, I pronounce it Iran. Iran. I like that. EAR. That makes it Iran. Iran, yeah, is the correct way. I've always said Iran, or Iran. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Lisa and Tina on this one and say Iran. But anyway, that part aside, let me go ahead. Let's dig into the technicals. Before I do, quick commercial. Go check out Grab and Go Social. We have a $7 trial. You get a month of content for $7. Grab and Go Social is the 3 C's you need to win at social media and start getting loans. Think about the fact that, no, you're not going to get a loan from social media tomorrow if you're kind of building it up. But wouldn't it be nice, November, December, wouldn't it be nice to be getting loans by then? You could absolutely get a few more loans this year. Check them out. grabandgosocial.com. The 3 C's, by the way, content. We give you content. Grab and go. That's why it's called Grab and Go. You could just take it, go, post it. Very relevant, very strong content. We give you editable content. So if you want to put a little more time into it, you can edit it, you can add to it, you can brand it. But you could just, on days when you're busy, grab and go. Make sure you're consistent. Consistency is the key. So we give you content. The next C is coaching. We have weekly coaching calls. We have strategy guides and playbooks. Make sure you check those out. The C for coaching. And then the other C is community. We, of course, have a community where we answer questions and help you all along, give you an opportunity to access to my team, including Austin Sierra, who our friends here will tell you is fantastic with that. So there's your commercial for today. Go check out grabandgosocial.com or use the school QR code over here. If you're not signed up yet, sign up for $7 and then it's $97 a month. It's normally $147, but we discount it to $97 a month and less than $100, man. I don't want any excuses why. If you are not heavy into your own social media marketing, you should absolutely be in it. So whether you're a beginner, whether you're intermediate, I wouldn't say it's great for advanced, because advanced people generally, if you've got a like really strong social platform already, but for anything else than that, definitely check it out. So, all right, going back into the other stuff, let me go ahead and show you the technicals and I'll share my screen. And here you go. So like I said, mortgage-backed securities currently down 15 basis points on the morning. You can see that is all right here in overnight trading. The reason for that is that the price of Brent crude oil has pushed higher. It's 83.76. 83.76. If we take a look where we've been yesterday, it was 81.25. For March 3rd, March 4th. Where's 4th? There you go. 81.40 on March 4th. And it was 81.40 on March 3rd. So it was, kind of staying still. And then today, now it's up to 84.76 is what we've seen. So you take a look here. I'm sorry, 83.76 according to this. 84.04 according to this one. Either way, it's up higher, and that's why you're seeing that overnight jump in rates. Now, before that, when you looked at rate sheets, things were actually looking pretty good. Let me bring this up, and you can see that we were, things had improved a little bit, right? We were at 6.12, then 6.13, dropped down to 6.07. This morning, though, it's going to put us up around 6.17 or more. Again, the February 4th was the worst pricing that we had. If we use, let's get rid of these. Let's look and see what was February 4th. There you go. So February 4th, we were 6.20. Let me click off that one. Sorry. There you go. 6.20, right? So we were at 6.20 February 4th. If you look at mortgage-backed securities, you can see right now we're down at 99.82. That the last time that we were down that way, down that low, was over here. And that was February 4th, 99.72. And right now we're at 99.82. So it is just a hair better. If you take a look down here, you will see that we have been pretty steadily losing ground. We lost all that ground in overnight trading right here, and then steadily losing ground here. Also, need to be paying attention to this 10-year Treasury yield. We are up to 4.14. Remember that last week we were down 3.94, had broken below 4, and it was looking pretty wide open that we could see some further improvement this week. After this scenario, though, look at where we've been Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and volatility being the main thing here. I mean, look at this right here. We were, Tuesday and Wednesday, it kind of held steady and again jumped today. Big jump though. You're going from 3.94 to 4.14. We've gone 20 basis points in yield higher on that 10-year treasury. Looking at mortgage-backed securities, last Friday, they were at 100.50. Again, we were over that 100.38. I'll circle 100.37. It's close enough for now, but 100.38 level. And then when we drop below that, the technicals, though, these don't matter. Like you could argue that we're going to get help from this green line. That green line is the 100-day moving average. It's at 99.80. That's going to provide us some technical support. But don't think that matters much if we see oil prices that go up. That will change, very, very quickly. So keep that in mind. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the headlines together. We'll go into that stuff. You're going to be looking for more headlines like this. If we see more attacks in that Strait of Hormuz, that is going to be a problem. This came out yesterday. Well, kind of this morning at 2:40 in the morning. So it was really, during the middle of the night for us. So oil tanker suffers explosion. And this wasn't like a missile blowing it up or anything crazy. They say that there was a small boat that approached the Sanangal Namib. I hope I'm pronouncing it even close to correctly. But this was the tanker. And there was a small boat and, basically they put a bomb on it and detonated the bomb and, violated the hull, broke the hull, in here. So the good thing, according to this article, is that there was no oil on board. It's not leaking oil, and they didn't even hit a holding tank. They hit a ballast tank. A ballast tank is one that's actually designed to hold water to keep the ship stable. So it was losing water from a ballast tank because of the damage here. But the fact, attacks are going to be bad. This says, though, it follows a strike on a container ship on Wednesday and hits on other vessels in the area. So conflict entering its 6th day. If we see more damage to ships, this is something that's going to drive up risks, and you're going to see that drive up costs over here for Brent crude. By the way, you got WTI crude, which is our U.S. prices. That's why if you see me, I was going by the Bloomberg number, but this is crude, WTI crude, which is at 77.57. If you see that difference, Brent crude is more global. This is going to be more for global pricing. So we're going to follow this. 83.76 is what it's up to. And let's move this to 5 days. And you could see, using this chart here, you could see where we were this week and that it is creeping higher. It's moving higher. And as this moves higher, so do rates. That's kind of your takeaway on that. So anyway, I hope this has helped y'all. How do you like the new format, by the way, where I covered everything first and then went to the screen? Let me know in the comments. I might play around with some little things in the meantime. Ron Siegel said, I get millions of hits on my socials. Not sure whether I would be considered advanced, but I learn new things from Austin all the time. He's a wizard who makes the training easy enough for an old guy like me to understand. Great value if you want to understand socials. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate your support. And I know you know how the game is played. And, things like this are absolutely huge. In fact, I'm going to take a screenshot of this. I know that Austin would absolutely love it. Oh, I got to get the... Oh, yep. Darn it. Hold on. Give me a minute. Move this over here. There we go. There we go. All right. I got it. So I can take a screenshot. Thank you. But appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. Grab and Go Social is a great tool for my originator friends. Definitely something that you want to be holding on to. So, and thank you, Ron, for the glowing review. I appreciate you, my friend. I know that it's an honest review as well, but I do appreciate you. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up, y'all. Again, let me know what you guys think of that little change in format. I may play with it a little bit, but want to keep it under 20 minutes. We're at 19:18 now. So remember, you could join me tomorrow. If you want a text alert to remind you, they're absolutely free. We don't violate your trust. We don't sell your information. There's no trigger leads. I know there's a trigger lead ban that went into effect today or yesterday, but even still, there's some caveats to that. But yeah, check us out, hmmr.io/reminder, or use this cool QR code. I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Hopefully, maybe things will improve through the day. Make sure you sign up for our text alerts so you can stay on top of that as well. I'll throw those up on the screen. Today's the kind of day where you want to be paying attention to what's happening. And if we don't improve by the end of the day, you're going to want to lock, but because it could continue to just worsen from here. So, all right, my friends, thank you. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.